Good evening, everyone, or good morning, good afternoon, or good middle of the night if you're depending on where you're watching. But welcome back to the channel. This is MUFC versus everybody. I am Sean, your host. Glad to stop by today. It's been a lot of running around for me today, a lot of busy stuff going on, but I did finally get a chance to sit down and catch up on some of the news and rumors and links, as far as everything Manchester United is concerned. And of course, if you can't tell by the thumbnail or the title today, United have been linked with interest in Moroccan right back, Bayern Munich right back, Noussair Mazraoui, another one of Ten Hag's former players. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But these rumors are coming from Florian Plettenberg or Plettigol on Twitter, which is also why today I am, in honor of the Ten Hag former Ajax player links, I am rocking the Ajax jersey. This is the 16-17 away strip that Ajax wore. If you have been a follower of the channel for a while, I've always got a soft spot for Ajax. I love the culture of that club. I love just the tradition. I love just they constantly produce such good players. I love the kind of football they've been playing. And obviously, I was a big follower of them when Ten Hag was still at Ajax. I really wanted him at United. Obviously, we got him at United, and the rest is history. But wanted to show my love today for the Ajax connections. A lot of people look at this strip. I don't know if you can see it in there, but so there's 3 X's on there. You also see the 3 X's in a lot of Ajax's shirts and everything. A lot of people look at that and they associate that with the kind of the red light district and whatnot over in Amsterdam. It gets a bad rap. I think it's one of those things. But this is actually the 3 crosses of St. Andrew, I believe. He was a martyr way back, way a long time ago. But the 3 X's are actually incorporated into a lot of Dutch kind of architecture and history and whatnot. So nothing to do with any sort of red light district and everything to do with history, and particularly religious history in Amsterdam. So little history lesson for you today, because that's what we do on this channel, right? We don't just talk about football. We talk about everything. So in honor of that is why I'm wearing this today. We are going to take a deep dive look at Noussair Mazraoui tonight, what he offers as a player, what are his numbers, what's he been up to, and what maybe he could offer United. We're going to talk a little bit about injuries and other things like that. So buckle your seats, get in, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you are new, as always, go check me out on Twitter, MUFC versus everybody, and let's get stuck in. So again, Florian Plettenberg, obviously journalist with Sky Sports in Germany, also known as Plettigol on Twitter. He has put out some tweets earlier today, if you haven't seen them yet, linking us with interest in Mazraoui. We're not the only club, apparently West Ham. So he said that Manchester United and West Ham are exploring a deal to sign Noussair Mazraoui. This apparently has developed during talks that we've had with regarding Matthias de Ligt. While we're deciding whether or not to increase our offer, apparently United have also discussed with Bayern potential move for Mazraoui. And again, that's coming from Plettigol. So according to him, the first concrete talks have taken place. Mazraoui is at the top of the list for both us and West Ham. And it sounds like he wants to play in the Premier League, according to Plettigol. He's 26, right back. He can leave Bayern now. Sounds like, according to Plettenberg, they demanded 30 million. However, according to him, the market right now does not support this amount. It's not realistic, and Bayern are now pushing to get around 20 to 25 million euros. He adds that the most realistic price is going to be between 15 to 20 euros, and that's the total package, including all that stuff. So that's what he says. So he continues to add that regarding United's current right-back situation. So obviously we've had some links from other clubs interested in Wan-Bissaka. West Ham obviously have been a little interested. So he adds that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is the key as far as the whole Mazraoui. So obviously West Ham, United, Wan-Bissaka, and Mazraoui, they're all kind of intertwined right now. West Ham are interested in both. We're interested in Mazraoui. We're open to selling Wan-Bissaka. West Ham are interested in Wan-Bissaka. It could be a domino situation. We're seriously considering replacing Wan-Bissaka with Mazraoui. Sorry, I know the name. I've watched him for years. I get it right. It's been a long day. And so according to Plettenberg, we've actually lowered our demand for Wan-Bissaka down to £10 million. So now Could be that West Ham are going to push towards Wan-Bissaka instead, leaving us to bring in Mazraoui. It's all intertwined. It's all crazy. So it is what it is. So anyway, Plettenberg's a pretty solid source. So it's a pretty interesting development that's come out today. Again, having watched Ajax for many years, I am a bit familiar with Mazraoui. I was actually pretty bummed that when we didn't scoop him up. Remember, he was available on a free transfer towards the end of his Ajax, and he ended up going to Bayern on a free. He and Ten Hag left Ajax at the same time. And so he was one player that I was really looking at. This was back when Wan-Bissaka was the defensive proposition, and this is way before Dalot was like where he is now. And so our right back situation was a bit iffy at the time. And so I was like, we need to go look at Mazraoui. He's a really good young player. Didn't end up happening. Went to Bayern Munich 2 seasons ago. So for those who may not be as familiar with Mazraoui, today I'm going to take a closer look at what United would be getting if he ended up making the switch and reunites with Erik Ten Hag. So he's 6 foot. He's 26 years old now. He's fast. He's physical. Good in the ball. Good in the air. You know, he's going to be 27, I think, mid-season. So kind of that experienced player. He's got experience with Ajax, so he knows Ten Hag. He's got experience with Bayern, so he's got experience at a big club, coming to United as well. First, though, let's talk about the elephant in the room that the media is going to jump all over. Ten Hag out crowd is going to jump all over. Rivals are going to jump all over. Let's just talk about it. Yes, Mazraoui has worked with Erik Ten Hag in the past, right? In fact, he was pretty much a mainstay in Ten Hag's dominant Ajax side until the end of the 21-22 season. Again, Ten Hag left for United. Mazraoui went to Bayern Munich as a free agent. So I know the knives are going to be out right now. The media is going to be going in hard. Ten Hag out crowd are going to be going in hard. And, you know, they're going to be screaming, why are we always signing former Ten Hag players? You know, it is what it is, though. You know, Barcelona were interested in him before he went to Bayern. Bayern obviously were interested in him as well. So why can't United be interested? I mean, tons of clubs sign former Ten Hag players. I don't know why it's a big deal when Ten Hag does it. Tons of managers bring their former players to clubs. We've already gone through that list. You know, Rafa Benitez, Jose Mourinho, all these guys bring former players. It is what it is. If they're good, what's the problem, right? Are we going to rule out players just because Ten Hag's worked with them in the past? If they're the best player for the job and they're available, what difference does it make? If anything, that streamlines the process. They already knows the manager, so right now, because I know that's going to be a big criticism that I'll throw out there if this comes to fruition. So as far as Mazraoui goes, let's get down to the nitty gritty, okay? At Ajax, Mazraoui was a beast, just a straight up beast. Aside from that canceled Eredivisie season because of COVID, remember lockdown happened. Ajax and I think Feyenoord were like neck and neck that season, and you know it looked. I'm just gonna say Ajax were gonna win, but who knows? But they ended up canceling the Eredivisie season. But aside from that canceled season, you know, Mazraoui's got those back-to-back leagues with Ajax. He was part of that big Ten Hag push. He's got 2 KNVB Cups. He's got a Johan Cruyff Shield and a partridge in a pear tree, right? He's got a lot of trophies. He won a lot at Ajax. He was also named Ajax's Talent of the Year for that 18-19 season. Remember that big season for them, both in Europe and in the Eredivisie. It was a big season for Ajax. And his screamer against PSV in the 21-22 season, this was final season at Ajax, was voted Ajax's goal of the season. He picked up the ball a couple yards off the edge of the box and just sent it into the top left corner. It was beautiful. As a fullback, I would say that Mazraoui's best attribute is his ball progression. Whether it's dribbling, carrying the ball himself, or passing it forward, progressive passes, he just moves the ball up the pitch. He gets his team up the pitch. He gets his team into advanced positions. He causes problems. It's a shift. And that's really what you like to see from your fullback, right? Get the ball, put yourself in positions to receive the ball, and move it up the pitch. That's what you want to do. That doesn't mean he can't defend, though. The guy's tackle and interception numbers have been very, very solid over the years as well as his aerial duel numbers. Remember, he's 6 foot. He's a physical presence. He's lanky, right? But he's good in the air. He's good physically. He reads the ball well. He tackles. He does it all. How solid are those numbers? Well, let's take a look. So we're going to start with the 18-19 season. Again, that Big B season. He had 1 goal, 1 assist in that league that season, and he was featured in the Team of the Week twice that season. But if you look at his numbers specifically, like let's look at his passing numbers and his attacking numbers. So he's Top 8% for shot creating actions, so actions that are leading to an attempt on goal, basically. Top 10% for passes attempted. His completion rate is in the top 5%. His progressive passes and his progressive carries and his successful take-ons are literally all in the top 3%, basically. His carries and his take-ons, well, so what he's doing with the ball at his feet and moving up, he's literally in the 99th percentile. He's in the top 1%. He gets a lot of touches in the attacking third. He's in the 73rd percentile. So not like as much as you're going to get from a striker or a winger, obviously, but he's a fullback. So he's getting an advance, kind of like Frimpong does. Frimpong is more of an attack-minded fullback. Obviously, he's a wingback at Leverkusen, and I would actually prefer to see Frimpong played as a winger, but he's getting in advanced positions. He's creating those overlaps and these underlaps, and he's causing a lot of problems for defenders. And that's really what I'd like to see more of with our fullbacks, is kind of overloading the opposition fullbacks and creating confusion and problems with doubling up and creating these overlap and underlap situations on the attack. And again, you go to 1920 season, it's similar. It's top 10% for shot creating actions. Again, like the top 3-4% for progressive passes, progressive carries, successful take-ons, touches, and the attacking penalties went up a lot. They went from 1.73 per 90 to 2.91 per 90. So they jumped from a 73rd percentile to the top 6% on season. So he's finding his feet as he's getting more involved, as Ajax are really starting to build momentum. And it seems like Mazraoui is a big part of that, right? And what did he get in that? So that was a canceled season, of course. So, and we go to 2021. He only had 1 assist, but he's, again, like the sustainability is there in terms of what he's doing on the ball. Again, top 2 to 1% for those progressive passes, progressive carries, successful take-ons. Guys, he's carrying the ball and he's doing it like superbly. The 21-22 season is probably his best season so far. He had 5 goals that season, 2 assists, 5 big chances created, and 4 times Team of the Week in the Eredivisie. He was a force. His goals, those goals jumped him up to the top 1% for fullbacks. He saw his expected assists, his shot creating actions, all that jumped in like the top 4%. And literally, if you go on to FBref, look at that season for his anything in terms of passing, ball progression and stuff. It's literally all in the top 10%. He's got several stats that are literally within like the top 3% in terms of touches in the attacking penalty area, successful take-ons, progressive carries, his progressive passes, so balls that are moving. He had over 9 of those per 90, and that's in the top 2%. Like, I know I'm like saying a lot of numbers. What I'm basically pointing out is that the guy, again, when he gets the ball, he's moving it up the pitch, whether he's carrying it himself or whether he's finding a teammate in an advanced position. He's moving the ball up the pitch, and he's doing it better than 98, 95, 96, whatever, 90% of other fullbacks in the top 5 leagues in the world. Like, that's what he's doing. That's what these numbers mean. And that final season at Ajax also saw him get more physical. He was putting in more blocks. He was in the top 5% for aerials won. He was averaging over 2 aerials won per match. And so that was really kind of like peak Mazraoui, right? And then he moved to Bayern, obviously ahead of that 2022-2023 season. And he maintained step up from Ajax, right? A lot of people don't rate the Eredivisie. I think they do so at their own peril. The Eredivisie produces great players. Under Ten Hag, they got to the semifinal in the Champions League for the first time in many, many, many years. That's no small feat for a club that in a league that a lot of people don't rate very highly. Like, it's not something to be sneezed at. So he moved to Bayern, and it was, again, maintained top 15, top 10% for progressive passes, progressive carries, successful take-ons, all of it. He's just a ball progressing machine when it comes to being a right back. And he saw his tackles shoot up to a 76 percentile. He was averaging almost 2.5 tackles per 90. And he was maintaining those aerial duels. Last season was a little iffy. He got himself into a little bit of into hot water with some political views that he had kind of made public. I'm not going to get too deep into that. You guys want to deep that and go ahead and jump on Google. Obviously, being Moroccan, he's going to have some views on the political climate, but And so it could have gotten to his head a little bit. I don't know. Obviously, Bayern had a rough season last season all over. So maybe that was a global thing. It's kind of like you look at United's 21-22 season, and it's easy to pick out any one player in that season and it completely omit any sort of context and say, wow, look at that season, what happened there? Well, look at United. That whole season, that was one of our worst seasons in history. So everybody was kind of way below par that season. And it was the same with Bayern, although I haven't been too harsh on Bayern because they actually got more points last season than they did the season prior. Literally, Leverkusen had to go undefeated just to beat them. And so it is what it is. But last season also saw Mazraoui kind of develop a little bit on that physical side defensively. He saw his tackles jump up to 78th percentile. His interceptions went way up. So maybe that was a Thomas Tuchel thing. Maybe there was Thomas Tuchel implementing that sort of mentality. He actually saw his interceptions jump from 0.84 per 90 to 1.5 per 90. So the 28th percentile to the top 10% for interceptions. So you can only make those kind of interceptions. You can only do that if you're good at reading the game, right? And you're given license to kind of do that. And so I think that that's something that Mazraoui offers as well, is a reading of the game that sees him kind of put himself in good positions to make those kind of plays. And he saw his aerial duels. He's maintained the same number, but he was still like it jumped up by 10% in terms of where he ranked among fullbacks overall. And so he also ended up getting 3 assists, 5 big chances created. And he's actually played a lot at left back last season as well with Bayern too, filling in for when Alphonso Davies was missing for a little bit. So it's a bit versatile in that regard because we saw him play left back pretty much primarily. That was the whole thing, only position he played with Morocco at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Played 5 matches, all at left back. And Morocco were a standout in that World Cup. If you remember, they came into that tournament ranked in the mid-20s in the world, and I think they jumped up to 12th, 11th, 13th. I don't remember, but they played really, really well. They really acquitted themselves very nicely in that tournament, if you remember. So those are some raw numbers. Like I said, beast mode, absolute turbo when it comes to moving the ball forward, whether that's carrying it himself or finding a teammate further up the pitch, getting the ball into advanced positions. That's what you get with Mazraoui. And he's not afraid to pitch in off the ball. We saw those tackles, those interception, those aerial duels shoot up, especially in the last couple of years. So he's able to help out on and off the ball. Here's the issue, though. And if you've been watching the channel for the last few months and hear me talking about some of our current players, you'll know how I feel when it comes to injuries. Availability is the best ability. It's not, I didn't make that up. Obviously, that's been out there. So there's a worry when it comes to Mazraoui's injury record. He missed 19 matches last season. He was out for a total of 96 days. In fact, he's missed double-digit games in each of the last 5 seasons through injury for both club and country, right? And then that 2021 season, he actually saw his longest absence, and that was due to an eye injury. And so I don't go too harshly on players for injury. That's why I don't go too harshly on Lisandro Martinez for his contact injuries. Those are contact injuries, or like Donny van de Beek. Donny van de Beek was a contact injury. You can't really do much about that. That's really unavoidable. That's not an injury prone. That's just injury. So I'm not gonna beat him too harshly with that stick, but he's missed double-digit matches in each of the last 5 seasons through injuries, little ankle injuries, little muscle injuries, little knee little knock. He had COVID, I think, as well, which I'm not blaming him for, but I'm saying we know that there are also potential long-term effects when it comes to COVID too. So we'll see what happens. I am also probably a little bit more concerned with a heart issue that came up for Mazraoui a few years ago. It's concerning because, again, you got to widen that lens a little bit. A lot of former Ajax players have had heart issues, and I'm not saying that that's an Ajax causing them. There's a correlation here, is what I'm saying. And correlation is not causation. I'm just pointing out the correlation. Mazraoui had an inflammation with the sac of the lining of his heart, which is the same thing that Daley Blind had. So remember, we bought Daley Blind from Ajax. We had him. He went back to Ajax, and that's when he started having Daley Blind now has a heart defibrillator in his chest because he had similar inflammation of the heart. Remember Christian Eriksen, former Ajax player, suffered cardiac arrest at that World Cup in 2022. Technically dead for a few moments. Remember that. And then there is a very, very tragic case of Abdelak Nouri. Appy Nouri is his nickname, Appy, who at Ajax, young, very promising up-and-coming midfielder, suffered a cardiac arrhythmia on the pitch in a friendly. I think it was against a German. I think it was either Wolfsburg or Werder Bremen was the friendly. Don't quote me on that. Go look it up. But he was unconscious and like not breathing without oxygen for so long that his career actually ended that day. He has long-term brain damage. He was in a coma for a little while because of a heart issue, and ended his career. And a little piece of trivia there, he wore the number 34, which Ajax retired. But that is why Donny van de Beek chose the number 34 when he came to Manchester United. Donny van de Beek was actually very good friends with Nouri, and so to honor his friend, he chose the number 34 to honor him. So a little bit of trivia as well. It is sad, but again, that's 4 players right there from Ajax who've had heart issues. One of whom, Daley Blind, has a defibrillator. The other whom is no longer playing. Eriksen, and now Mazraoui. So it's a bit of a concern for me. Whether or not it's a concern for you is completely up to you, but that's why I'm here. I'm putting all the information out there so you guys can make an informed opinions on how you feel about some of these, more heavy links when it comes to players in Manchester United. So numbers and injuries aside, what you get with Noussair Mazraoui is a fullback who gets up and down the pitch, who uses his physicality and his reading of the game to win back possession and make plays, right, on the ground and in the air. He's a physical guy. He's 6 foot. He's a big guy. He can get involved. He wins a lot of aerial duels. He can play left back when called upon as well. He's done so again for Bayern and for Morocco on the World Cup stage. He'll be 27 this season, so he's experienced. 27 is not old. He's experienced. He knows the game. He knows it well. He's played at big clubs, played on big tournaments and everything. And it seems as though he's going to be a rotation option. Obviously, we play a lot of matches at United. Dalot was probably overplayed a little bit. Wan-Bissaka was injured for a big part of last season. And obviously, our left back situation is what it is. And so it sounds like, the aim is to rotate. We've got, if you take all the games that we play in a season, each position on the pitch, each player in the starting 11 could easily, we could have 2 quality players for each position, and each one would still play 24 matches a season easily. At Manchester United, with the Carabao Cup, with Europa League, with the Premier League, with the FA Cup, with all of it. They're going to get matches because we have in the last several seasons, we've made it to many finals, many semifinals. We play a lot of matches. So the minutes are going to be there. It seems like he's okay with that. He's been kind of a off and on rotation option here and there. I'm at Bayern, obviously. So it's, Bayern, it seems hard to get into that team at times, but he seems like he's fine with that as well. If we do end up selling Wan-Bissaka, I think Mazraoui is an excellent fullback to come in and challenge for that right back stop to rotate, all things being equal. Again, all things aren't equal. I'm a little tired of the injury-prone players that we keep picking up. Raphael Varane, injury-prone. Luke Shaw, injury-prone. Malacia, big injury. Malacia may not be injury-prone, but this injury is an issue. Casemiro's picking up more and more injuries these days. Marcus Rashford's picking up more and more injuries these days. Bruno Fernandes can't play. We have way too many injuries in this squad already. I don't want us to go out and sell a player who's really only had like 1 big injury and then like replace him with another player who's hardly ever fit. But that's just me. I don't blame him for the eye injury again, but those muscle and those ankle issues, they do add up. Your body starts to just break down a little bit over that. Plus, I'd argue, again, that left back is a bigger priority than right back, especially with Shaw's injury record, with Wan-Bissaka, with Malacia facing, a bit of recovery time after that lengthy injury. We don't know what that's going to look like yet. So, again, maybe I'm just tired of the injuries, but there's also other right backs out there who maybe don't have such a bad injury record. I remember there were a few rumors a little while back linking us with Kylian Sabe. He's a young, I think he's like 18, 19. He plays for Club Brugge. Really good young little right back. Nothing wrong there. Kuipers is another one who plays for them. Thiago Santos at Lille, I think we were linked with him recently. A young, I think he's Portuguese. what is he, like 18, 19? Again, another young player, really good, promising young player at Lille. Go check him out. And then there's Ferdi Kadiolu at Fenerbahce, who we've been linked with recently, the most recent player we've been linked with. Remember, he had a really good tournament with Turkey. Obviously, Turkey didn't advance, didn't win the tournament, but he looked really bright. I think he and Cucurella really stood out for me in the Euros in terms of fullbacks. He plays as a left back primarily, but Kadiolu he's right-footed, so he could also technically cover both left back and right back. So you buy one player who can cover both positions, and then maybe revisit one of those positions in a year or so, after you've had some time. So what I'm saying is I don't want us to put undue pressure on ourselves by, selling Wan-Bissaka unnecessarily. For me, I would sell Wan-Bissaka if a really, really good, hard to turn down offer came in. Still, though, Mazraoui has the goals, he has the assists, he creates chances, he helps out off the ball. Potentially be inexpensive, right? 15 to 20 million total package is not bad. So that would probably be like less than 10 million up front, or in terms of the initial fee plus the add-ons, which is not bad, honestly, for what you're getting on paper. So he's inexpensive. And then, with several positions, like I've mentioned around the pitch that need strengthening, I can see how an inexpensive option like Mazraoui could be appealing then to Ineos from a financial perspective. Seems like almost like a no-brainer, right? Again, it's just those injuries though that worry me, especially the heart one. That to me is worrisome. I mean, we really only need to look at right backs if we sell Wan-Bissaka. And again, the question is, do we really need to sell Wan-Bissaka right now? Is that an urgent priority? I don't know if it is for me. I think that he would have probably played a little bit more last season had he not picked up that injury. And he looked fine after coming back from the injury. He came back cold and immediately was put on left back against Liverpool. So against Mo Salah in that FA Cup. And he did fine. He pocketed Salah that match. Like, he was just fine. He started to struggle a little bit. Again, he has his deficiencies, and we saw those deficiencies later on against like Chelsea. Wan-Bissaka is good in the tackle, but I feel like in his own box, it's either he's going to let you blow right by you or he's going to commit a penalty. Like, that's just what we've seen from him. So he has his deficiencies. I don't care what he looks like on the ball. Like, people say he looks awkward, he looks lanky. It's his body. It's just the way it is. If he's doing what he needs to be doing, I don't care what people look like necessarily. I know that it reminds me of this story that I forget who it was. It was some politician talking about presidencies, whatever, but he related an analogy regarding two really great golfers, and they were being interviewed, and they said, in the interview asked them, how do you know you're good? And the one golfer was like, well, I have this form, I use these clubs, I make sure I'm doing this and that and the other thing. And the other golfer just said, I know that I'm good by where the ball lands. Like, I don't care what people look like. I don't care if you're setting up for a free kick and your form is all wrong. I don't care as long as the ball is in the back of it. I don't care if as long as the pass is completed. I don't care what you look like if the end product is getting what needs to be done, right? Sports predictions in the live chat. What's up, bro? What is up, my friend? How are you doing this fine evening or afternoon or morning or wherever you watch? Where are you watching from, man? It is about 6:30 my time PM. So stopping by a little late today. I know we're usual. The crew is not probably in. They're not probably used to me. That's okay. They'll check it. They'll check back and probably leave a comment. But again, we only need to look at right back if we sell Wan-Bissaka. And again, is that something we need to sell right now? I would only sell if a really, really good offer came in, and if the replacement wouldn't cost a lot. So, but it's also not my money. Like, I'm not going to be one of those fans who focuses so much on how much players cost or how much we're paying them. Like I said before, I only focus on that when it comes to the PSR stuff and the FFP stuff, because that kills us. And so I'm not going to be like, oh, we spent this much on what player. Like, it is what it is. It's not, if the Ineos wants to do it, whatever. Sports predictions, 5:30 my time in Tennessee. Oh yeah, one of my good buddies lives in Tennessee, Cleveland, Tennessee, as a matter of fact. Is it true that when it snows, because it's so hilly in Tennessee, that you guys everybody shuts down because it's too hilly, and if it gets too frozen, it's pretty dangerous? So I've been busy, haven't been online as much as sports predictions. Hope all is well. All is well. It's just been a busy day. Supposed to go do some stuff this evening, but it started raining, so I didn't really feel like doing that. So wanted to take a few moments and write up the video and kind of go through the numbers and everything as it pertains to Noussair Mazraoui, and give you guys all that information. Obviously, we've talked a little bit about his numbers at Ajax and at Bayern, and we've talked a little bit about his injury record, which is a bit worrisome. But that's just my thoughts. Again, the whole point for me is not to, it's like when I see a client, the whole point is not for me to talk, it's for me to listen. I'm interested in your guys' thoughts. What do you think about Florian Plettenberg's reports regarding United being interested in Noussair Mazraoui? Do you think he'd be a good replacement for Wan-Bissaka, good rotation option for Dalot? Do you think he would take over for Dalot? Do you think he's better than Dalot? I don't know. Are you tired of United targeting players you've worked with Ten Hag in the past? Are you one of those people? Who knows? Sports Prediction says, yes, it gets very icy in Tennessee. Car crashes a lot. Dude, my buddy lives on like a hill, and he's like, man, it's rough. But it is what it is. Chow says, how is it going? What are your thoughts on the link to Richard Rios? I did see some tentative links to Richard Rios. I'm not sure how reliable they are. Let me know if you're familiar with the sources of those. I'm not super familiar with Richard Rios. I watched him a little bit in the Copa America. He reminds me a little of Paul Pogba in the way he plays, right? He's really good on the ball, really good at avoiding those tackles, really good at creating space for himself. And it seems like he's got a really good pass on him, and he's good at carrying the ball. When I watched him play a little bit, I'm like, he reminds me a lot of Paul Pogba. But we'll see. I mean, it's not a position that I would have thought we would have looked at right now in terms of a like more of a box-to-box, like an 8, and not so much as a Casemiro replacement, because we have Mason Mount, we have Kobbie Mainoo, and so it's interesting. I did see some reports that said we might be open to selling Mason Mount. I don't know how believable I find those rumors. He was a big priority signing for Ten Hag last summer. We gave him the number 7 shirt. We paid a lot of money for him, even though he was going to be free in a year. But also a lot of clubs were interested in him as well. So I can't see us getting, but who knows? Again, like David Ornstein says, I've given up trying to guess right now this summer. So Sports Prediction says, no, bro, we need Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I've said many times, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I think my thing is Wan-Bissaka, it's one of those things where, can we improve on Wan-Bissaka? Yes. Is it something I would prioritize this summer? Absolutely not. Because he's not a bad player. He's limited. He's limited for sure, but he's not bad. What people need to remember about Wan-Bissaka too is that he was converted to a fullback. He started as a winger, which is why when it comes to his defensive positioning and his awareness, like his deficiencies at the back post and whatnot, which is why you see some of those deficiencies kind of highlighted against certain opposition, because it's just not his natural inclination, right? So we do see that, but it's not. I agree that he's not something we need to look at selling right away, unless, and I've said this many times before, when some of these interested links were popping up with Wan-Bissaka, unless we get like a 25 million offer, then I'm like, all right, that's probably the most you're going to get offered for Wan-Bissaka right now. He's 26. He hasn't been like great. And so I wouldn't let him go for like 10 million personally, but I think we could get twice as much as that easily, but it's not my money. So Sports Prediction says, we need something different for what Dalot gives us. So I'll stick with Aaron Wan-Bissaka and get a replacement or add a young right back next summer. Yeah. And again, it's not a priority. If we did sell Wan-Bissaka right now, we got a good offer. Obviously we would need a replacement. The same with McTominay, like I said, like, if we got what we would demand for like 40 million for McTominay, and that's all profit, cool, it's all profit. But he was basically our depth option, so we need another player. Maybe that's where those Rios links come in. Who knows? But we would need another player, and so we don't have the depth right now. And we are getting rid of a few players that just aren't really. They're fringe players who weren't really part of the squad anyway, like Greenwood, like Donny van de Beek, like Kambwala, like. They don't hurt us as much. It's like when Arsenal lost Timber. You never had Timber, technically. So, and while I don't want injury, but it's like you didn't really miss him, right? Because he never played for you. Kind of a deal. No one will go for Mount, says Chow, because his wage is $250 a week, a joke. I mean, the wages thing, it's always a sticking point because the player always has the option to take a pay cut. It's really down to whether or not they want to play versus whether or not they want to get paid. Some players, maybe they'll stay because they really want to challenge and get their spot back, and you can't do anything but respect that. But I don't think we've seen enough of Mount to know for sure what he's going to be in the United shirt because he was injured so much last season. I think people are going to call that a waste of money, but it is what it is. We want to look forward a little bit and hope that he gets fit and firing. Obviously, he's featured in both of our preseason matches so far. It seems like we're trying to really just get him back to match fitness and make sure he's a regular part of the match day squad. So it's anyone's guess what's going on with Mount. It would not look good under normal circumstances to turn around and sell a player after a year, especially after it was this big priority. But again, that wasn't Ineos's signing, right? So it's not going to look bad for them. I think if anything, it looks bad for Ten Hag in that case if we do sell him. But we'll see what happens there. Sports Prediction says, I think we need to have 3 left backs and 3 right backs, which is key in a world-class squad. 3 of them. Can you name big squads that have 3 top players in those positions? So 6 high-quality fullbacks. I mean, let's break it down. City have Walker and what should I say? Is Rico, right? And who do they have at left back? At City, I don't even know who their left back is. I think Vardio. Had they played like a back 3? I don't know. See if you can name me teams that have 3 of them. Sports Fiction says Mount will come good, bro. We just need to be patient and develop him. He's still 24, 25. Yeah, it remains to be seen what Mount will become in United shirt. We know what he can do. He was one of Chelsea's best players for several seasons, right? But we'll see. I think that the injuries haven't helped. I worry that he's a little bit injury prone because it wasn't like he was getting contact injury and stuff. It was just these little niggling issues that keep popping up. And whether that's the player, whether that's our medical staff, if you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you know how I feel about our medical staff, but who knows? But what are you guys' thoughts on Mazraoui? I know Sports Fiction doesn't think we need a replacement, or maybe we don't want to get rid of Wan-Bissaka. Make some valid points, right? Valid arguments there. The injuries worry me with Mazraoui. If Mazraoui weren't injury prone, I think he could honestly be the starting right back for United. I think he's that good. I think he was that good at Ajax. I do think he is better than Dalot. It's just the injuries. He hasn't been fit enough. Like I've said, in the last 5 seasons, he's missed double-digit games because of injury. And so you have to take that into consideration, right? You just have to. It's like Matthias de Ligt. Matthias de Ligt has had 3 separate ligament injuries in his knees in the last 2 seasons, and they've been on both knees. And so you have to take that in consideration because you don't want to spend that much money. You don't want to pay a player that much who's not fit, who's injury prone. You don't want that. And so you have to take that into consideration. You have to do your due diligence as a scout, as a recruitment staff, and say, well, let's make sure we kind of do an extra in-depth, medical test then to see what this injury issues are looking like. So Sports Predictions. We need 2 top starting fullbacks, and the third one will be a youngster understudy. Yeah, I don't read too much into the preseason, right? But I'm sure he looks great in the academy, right? He's looked a little timid when he's come on in preseason so far. I don't read too much into it, obviously, because it's preseason, and I've said it many times, but he hasn't looked super, super convincing. He doesn't look ready, I guess, is what my point is. Collier looks like he's got the physicality. I think Collier is giving me, there are times when Collier is giving me Hannibal vibes in that he's just a little too eager to win the ball back. He's giving away a little too many fouls, but he's young. It is what it is. I'm not going to hold that, but I'm just going by what I see so far. We've had some fullbacks come and go over the years. What was going on with his name, Alvaro Fernandez? Did Benfica end up picking up that option to buy? I can't remember off the top of my head. I know I did a video on it too last month. I just can't remember now off the top of my head. I'm having a brain fart. Who knows though what's going on? So I'm going to wrap it up here. everyone. Just like I said, wanted to jump in real quick, do a little bit of a closer look, deep dive at Noussair Mazraoui, because we have been linked with him from Florian Plettenberg today, who's a pretty good source. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you learned anything. Let me know if you like that little bit of trivia on the 3 crosses, on the Ajax stuff. Let me know if you like that little trivia about just Ajax players and heart issues. Because again, Mazraoui has had a heart issue, the same kind of heart issue that Daley Blind had recently. Christian Eriksen had heart issues, and then obviously the young tragic story of Appy Nori and all that. So the heart issues are worrisome as well. Real quick, do the live chat again before I dip out. Sports predictions, bro. I just think Maz is an improvement on Dallas style of play. It would be like having 2 Dallas instead of what we have now in Wan-Bissaka, who's a very one. Yeah, Wan-Bissaka 1v1. I think, if I'm being honest, is in my opinion. Again, I'm not just saying this is what it is. In my opinion, his 1v1 stuff has kind of, to me, dipped a little bit in the last couple seasons, just because obviously that was a big part of what he was at Crystal Palace. He looked really good for us when Ollie bought him as well. I just think his 1v1 stuff is kind of dipping a little bit. Maybe, I don't know why that would be. Let me know if you agree or not. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying it was really high and it's dropped down just a little bit. It's kind of like David De Gea's shot stopping. It was very, very good, and then it dipped in the last couple of years. It just did. But who knows? Bro, read the comment for you. I am reading the comments, man. I got my wife downstairs and my dogs I want to get back to, but that's why I always take a little bit of time towards the end of the videos to check the live chats, to let everybody get a couple thoughts in before I do dip out. And like, I'll be here pretty much at least every other day, if not every day during the summer. During the season, I'm here like all the time, just match previews, match reviews, 3 thoughts, all that stuff. There's so much football going on. There will be a little break in the fall when I go back to Manchester for a couple matches, but I'll see if I can hook up any sort of live stream on my phone while I'm over there. It's going to depend on the data plan, but during the summer, I don't like to go live unless there's some big news, or unless there's some really good reliable links, and an opportunity to maybe show you guys and help everybody learn a little bit more about a key player. So that's what I'm doing today. But like I said, the big part is listening to you guys. I'm more interested in your guys' thoughts than just spouting my thoughts. My job is to give you the numbers, give you the facts, give you the history of these players and the profile that they bring, and when we're linked to them, and let you guys kind of share your thoughts when you hear all that. Chow says, I'm looking forward to this Saturday games against Arsenal, special going to meet Saeed. Oh, you're going to meet Saeed, huh? Yeah, Saeed's obviously super popular. I don't agree with everything Saeed says, but that's not the point, right? We don't just live in an echo chamber. Everybody, I'm sure there are things I say that people disagree with, but yeah. But so I big up Saeed, man. He's doing it out there, and he's been doing it for a while. I've been watching him since his early days. But yeah, big up Saeed, man. He's doing it. Ali El Ali, what's going on with all these ghost emojis, my guy? Let you guys get a couple little final thoughts before I dip out, though. If you have any questions about Mazraoui or anything like that, any more questions about Amsterdam? Because like a lot of, like I said, the jersey has the 3 X's. A lot of people think it's because of red light district adult stuff. It's not. But you can deep dive that. Sports predictions, bro. Before you go, what do you think of Dan Ashworth? What do I think of Dan Ashworth? I know he did that column today, kind of his first big deep dive. And a lot of that was to be expected. I think Dan Ashworth is highly regarded in terms of his position in the footballing community. I'm glad that we have someone. Getting someone halfway competent in that role would have been huge, but to get someone like Dan Ashworth in that role, that was just that's above and beyond what anybody could have expected, I think, going into this summer. The whole recruitment structure that we've done has just been, we've already seen it working hard. We're getting people out. We're getting good people in. We're working on multiple deals at once. We're getting them done early, ahead of preseason, which is great. We're not very good at doing that, which is super, super key. And I'm eager. It's only been going on for a couple weeks now, so I'm eager to see what happens, what we do next. What else, Dan? And I think what it's going to be interesting to see, for me at least, what happens between the summer window and the January window, and then between next summer, how we're working during the season, how we're planning, how we're assessing, where we're prioritizing, and how we're looking ahead. And maybe if we start moving like Dortmund does, where they're wrapping up deals in like November for next summer and like early like March and April, like that would be excellent. I would love us to be able to start doing stuff like that and actually get like, because that's where we really have been lacking a lot, in my opinion. Chow says he's just landed in LA. Who has just landed in LA? Where did you get this jersey from? This Ajax one, man. So obviously this is from the 16-17 season, so I've had this since then. I think I got this on eBay. I get most of my stuff on eBay. Up until recently, all my United stuff has been like from eBay and stuff, because I didn't want to give the Glazers my money. But the Glazers aren't taking any dividends anymore, and so I'm a little less legalistic when it comes to that. I'm probably not going to spend $200 on a jersey at the mega store. I have way too many jerseys. You guys have seen me wear so many of them. I don't need to spend any more money, but yeah, I get them on eBay. They're all, I mean, most of them, if not all of them, are authentic. They're just, jerseys that people have bought and don't need anymore. So I grab them, but I'm also pretty cheap, so I don't like to spend a ton on the jerseys. But yeah, this is from eBay. It actually came with the matching pair of shorts as well when I got it, which I didn't know. So it's kind of cool. I ran those shorts into the ground though, because I wear them when I play. I wear them when I go kayaking and stuff. They get a lot of mileage. Sports predictions, because bro, I think he's going to help build this squad where it's very fucking competitive in the next 3 years. Let's hope so. We know Sir Jim put out kind of that 3-year thing, and I think that Ten Hag has very little excuses moving forward if he's being backed and we're building for him. He's got to now deliver. Obviously, the injuries killed us last season. Let's hope that we don't have the same kind of injury issues that we did, and hope moving forward that it's going to be more smooth, more reliable. The Lenny Yoro thing, I'm not going to say I did not see that coming. I thought that guy was Madrid bound for sure, and that one kind of blew everybody, I think, out of the water when we announced that for sure. But like if the problem is like when you do stuff like that, you kind of set the tone, right? You kind of set the expectation. So now we're all like, let's get Ugarte, let's get Zubimendi, let's get everybody, man, get them all, get it done. Let's get Xavi Simons, let's get Daniel Olmo. Everybody wants all these players now, and so we got to be a bit strategic. We got to prioritize. We got to sometimes say no now to something so we can say yes later, because we do have the financial stuff that's hurting us right now too. So we can't just spend. We have to sell players. Selling Mason Greenwood was a big help. Maybe we'll be selling McTominay. I don't think I would sell him with some of the fees that some of these nobodies are going for. And there's no offense. I mean, like people no one's heard of are going for right now in the Premier League. We need to be getting at least 40 million if we sell McTominay. Like that's just the bare minimum for me. Sports Prediction says players will be fighting to play for Man United. I hope so. I would love us to get back to signing players who want to play, signing players who are going to fight. I think that cutting down on some of the crazy wages is going to help. But we'll see. It's good to see players who want to be here. I'm really excited for that. Chow, the Big Six crew just landed in LA. Yeah. All right, y'all. I am going to wrap it up there for tonight. I do appreciate you guys stopping by in the chat tonight. Ali, welcome back, man. Chow, Sports Predictions. Love you guys getting involved. Love hearing your thoughts. If you guys aren't able to watch live, let me know in the comments what you think of Noussair Mazraoui. What do you think, in terms of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, what that means for everything? Is Mazraoui a player you'd like? I've given you some numbers, given you some history, some injury stuff, giving you a more informed opinion to make. So let me know in the comments what you think. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Go check me out on Twitter, MUFC everybody. And hopefully we'll have some more announcements this week. I know we're flying to the U.S., I think, this weekend, right? So kicking off the U.S. leg of our preseason tour. I'm not going any of those matches because I save up my travel for United for the actual season. So trying to get back October-ish if I can. I'm waiting for the Europa League schedule to be announced before I plan that trip. So let you guys know when I'm doing that, and we'll go from there. Take care, man. Says Sports Drink. Take care, man. Thank you guys for stopping by. Love it. I appreciate the support. Love watching the channel grow, getting all the people interacting. And I think that's what I really like I said, is just getting you guys interacting and giving your opinions. So on that note, Chow says, have a great evening. Dude, you have a great evening. Everybody have a great evening. And I will hopefully see you maybe tomorrow or the next day, depending on, you know, what kind of developments we have. But that is going to wrap it up for me tonight, guys. Take it easy. Enjoy your evening. And I will talk to you